Yeah, let's just do movies quickly. Let's get straight into it. You tell us.
We have just finished all 4 Lethal Weapon films.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It was a good run.
I'll tell you why we did it. For 2 reasons. Firstly, Christmas movie. Obviously, Lethal Weapon 1 is a Christmas movie, much like Die Hard. I know even Bruce Willis said Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
Did he?
Wrong. Yeah, famously.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Wrong. Here's basically any film where if you removed Christmas from it would need a massive rewrite is a Christmas movie.
What's the other one with bacon?
Bacon?
Tomato lettuce sandwich.
Pork bellies, which is used to make bacon.
Trading Places, yeah.
Trading Places.
Trading
So you
Places.
also think that's a Christmas film?
Wait a minute. Again, it's set at Christmas. It's because of Christmas. There's even a New Year's party.
I hear.
Dan Aykroyd dresses up as Santa Claus at one point. You got Jamie Lee Curtis walking around topless. Okay.
How is that Christmas?
That's just gifts. So that's clearly a Christmas movie. You can't take Christmas out of Trading Places and it still be Trading Places. You can't take Christmas out of Die Hard because, for a start, if it wasn't Christmas, he wouldn't be going to a Christmas party carrying a Christmas present.
I hear.
He wouldn't be using Christmas tape to sellotape his gun to his back. He wouldn't. And none of it would be taking place. It simply wouldn't be happening.
hear.
And he certainly wouldn't walk out at the end of the film to a Christmas song playing in the credits. Same with Lethal Weapon 1. Okay, there's even they even write a message to the bad guys that say ho ho. I mean, it's about as Christmas as you can possibly get. We watched it because of that, and also because there are rumours about Lethal Weapon 5. I mean, they're talking. And you know, when I saw those rumours first, and they're like, hey, the gang's all coming back, and they're going to get Joe back, and they're going to get Chris, and the nostalgic part of my brain thought that'd be great. Having watched them now, I don't know. And I think you benefited from watching them. Well, actually, you tell me. As someone that had never seen Lethal Weapon films before.
I like them. I think some blatant script parts are quite just funny. I think they're quite funny.
Right, I'm going to tell you why you enjoyed them more than me. When I watched Lethal Weapon, so Lethal Weapon 1 is, 87, I think, 1987, and it goes through to Lethal Weapon 4, which is 1998. So it's 87 to 98. I watched, so for me, that was 14 years old to whatever, 20. So that for me, teenage boy, I'm watching them and they are legit full-on action movies, especially Lethal Weapon 1, especially that. Okay. I mean, Riggs running through LA with his machine gun, his shirt flapping is iconic. It makes me want to go and run through traffic every time I see it. So for me, full-on action movies, when I watch them now, I realise they simply aren't, by today's standards, proper action movies. They just aren't. And that disappoints me. I think when you watch them, it's like me watching a film from the 50s or the 60s where I'm not as emotionally committed to the film. So, for example, if I watch something like a proper old film.
Well, the one we always watch at Christmas that you bought me on DVD. White Christmas?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart. Okay, so when I watch that, I'm not watching that thinking this is Shawshank. Okay, I'm watching it and I'm giving it a huge amount of slack for being of the era that it's from. And I think when you watch Lethal Weapon, you're doing that. You're allowing, because you're laughing at some of the stupid jokes and stuff, because you're just giving it the freedom to be something from a time.
I just think it's an 80s movie and just treat it as one.
You're doing that. So when I watch a 40s or a 50s or a 60s film, I'm giving it the leeway to be that. It doesn't need to be what I would want it to be now.
No, because that's a pointless thing to do.
Right, but when I watch Lethal Weapon, I want it to be real and now, because it was to me when I was a teenager watching it. And I watch it now and I realise it's just not. Lethal Weapon 1 is all right. It's all right. But even it's all right. It's a pity they kind of move away from Riggs being a bit of a lunatic nutcase. They do that properly. And actually, do you know what disappointed me slightly? Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon 1, he's a proper actor. And obviously he'd done Gallipoli.
What's Gallipoli?
It's an Australian film that he got like really highly rated for as a youngster. He'd obviously just done the Mad Max stuff, and certainly Mad Max 1 and 2 were proper acting films.
That you're making me watch that. That was a terrible film.
Stop.
That was so long and boring. Mad Max 1.
Okay, that's just.
It was.
Okay.
We watched it and I thought, what?
Blasphemous. Stop it.
Like the punk rockers that just terrorise
punk
people.
rockers, the toe cutter. It's not a punk rocker. Listen, anyway, my point is he's a proper full-on actor. So the bits he's doing where he's nuts. For example, they have the scene where Riggs jumps off the building with the suicide guy, and it's like a stupid comedy kind of like he jumps off the building with the guy. And it's a funny kind of thing, but then within 10 seconds. Yeah, Murtaugh's dragged him into the coffee shop, and he's sticking the gun to his head. He's like, "Yeah, kill me." And it's an incredibly powerful, dramatic scene. Nothing close to that happens in any of the other Lethal Weapons. The tiny bit when they're all dead in Lethal Weapon 2, and Riggs is upset because they've killed everyone, maybe. But for the most part, they kind of go away from that, and Richard Donner just turns it into this stupid kind of. I mean. Every film, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, you said the ending of 1 is silly when him and Mr. Joshua have the little fisticuffs on the lawn. Okay, I mean that to me is that's just one.
I didn't say it was silly. I just said it's ridiculous that all these policemen are just allowing this to happen.
Okay, but
as if that is like it just wouldn't happen, would it?
I understand.
It shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen. No. If you've not seen Lethal Weapon 1, by the way, at the end of Lethal Weapon 1, Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey, he's basically been arrested. He's been arrested by Riggs and Murtaugh, but yeah, they decide to simply have a fist fight instead to see who wins. While surrounded by half of the LAPD, including air support, and they crash into a fire hydrant to make it wet. I tell you what, talking about wet, having watched Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'd never realised how much it rains in LA. Apparently, it rains
in these films. It
constantly in Lethal Weapon. It rains all the time. I think Richard Donner I don't know what, he just has a thing for rain.
Maybe they filmed.
Had obviously.
Maybe they filmed out of season, it was cheaper.
Anyway, my point is, the end of 2, 3, and 4, they put themselves in the most ridiculous situations, don't they? I mean, at the end of 2, they just rock up at the, diplomatic community. They just kind of throw themselves into that situation. The end of 3, what do they do? Oh, him and his new wife.
Fire everywhere.
They just turn up at a construction site and take on a construction site of baddies. And at the end of 4,
it's not his wife at that point, though.
No, but it's someone important to him. Taking her to a firefight seems a weird thing to do.
When you say that, she's also a cop.
What happened at the end of 4? Oh, they just drive into
Chinese.
the middle of a triad kind of arms deal. It's just nonsense. You're watching it, you're thinking, why are you doing that? You can't just drive into the middle of that and then when everyone starts shooting, just kind of forward roll out the way. I mean, it's almost comical. And the problem is, 4 years after that, we had Bourne Identity come out, and that's it. It just kills that forever. You watch Matt Damon fighting in a way that is real and looks like that's how you would actually fight and get out of a situation, or driving his car through wherever, the streets of Europe, in a way that it would look like you would drive a car to escape, and not the way, just that kind of cliched 90s, 80s, every time you go in a corner, you have to do these kind of ridiculous handbrake turns.
But that was what it was at the time.
I know. And at one point in the film last night, the car jumped off a ramp, didn't it? It jumped into an office building, it drove through the office building, came out the other side and landed back on the road again. I mean, it was almost to the point of just thinking...
I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah, because you're watching it. I was watching it thinking, I remember this happening and thinking, that's amazing. Whereas now, Bourne Identity, Jason Bourne basically, and even to a certain extent John Wick, because John Wick showed if you want to do that kind of crazy fun stuff, you don't have to do it comically stupidly. It can be done like this. So I found them disappointing compared to what I'd experienced as a youngster watching them for the first time.
I found them light-hearted and funny.
Okay. Talking of people like Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke getting older, I was curious as to what Patsy Kensit was up to lately.
Who?
Patsy Kensit.
Is that the South African?
Rita van der Vanderkamp. Riggs, you are so funny. Yeah, the last heard of doing Casualty and Emmerdale and stuff in the UK.
She was hot.
Yes. And may well still be. I'm not saying she isn't, but who knows? I've not seen Emmerdale, so I don't know. If you're American, Emmerdale is a
Soap opera.
It's a soap opera. You know how you guys have soap operas like 90210, where everyone kind of drives around in jeeps with the top off and it looks really cool. Emmerdale is about people living on a farm. That's all I know about it. Moving on.